Hello, everyone. Welcome to my podcast, Do You Know You? For my second guest, I have Nishta Sraf here, fashionista. She have 81.8K Instagram followers, and she have a blog where you can just go and take inspiration of her looks and buy similar products, and also her own website, fashionista.com. She's very active on Pinterest as well, and little less active on Facebook, Ruposo. So, welcome, Nishta. Thank you so much for joining me for my podcast. I'm really, really thankful for you to join me in my cause. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Geetika. Thank you really for having me.
I'm sure it wouldn't have been very easy, from Varanasi to Pune to then Netherlands. Like, a lot of
Oh my
shift in
God.
fashion, life. So how did you cope up with all that?
So it was definitely a roller coaster ride. I won't disagree to that. I was not in Varanasi. Like I left Varanasi when I was 20. So for me, MBA, I left Varanasi and I never really went back to live with my parents because immediately after MBA, I got my job and I started working in Agra. And after that, I just worked for 6 years and instantly I got married and moved to Pune. So I never really, went back. So my main 5 years were in Pune, and from there it just started. Like the fashion thing just started, and Pune is a very good city to get into fashion and stuff. So yeah, but I did have to convince my parents because my husband, like I'm married, of course, and my husband was pretty much okay with everything that I do. He's like, it's your life, go ahead with whatever you love to do. But I really had to convince my parents, despite getting married. Yeah. So
But that's a good thing that your husband supported in whatever you did. So it made it a
yeah,
little easy than otherwise, obviously.
true, true.
So, okay, my first main question, what my podcast is all about. Do you know you?
Yes, I do. I do. It took me quite a while to know who I am, what I want, how I am, what kind of person am I. But yeah, I believe I know myself.
That's good because I think a lot of people are lost and they don't really know who they are, what they want, and what direction they want to take their life. So I think it becomes
People are
easy when
mostly influenced. Yeah,
yeah,
people
right.
are influenced by someone else, so they
True.
don't really figure themselves out.
That's
Yeah.
true. So with so much of Instagram followers and always like, is it a pressure to always be on social media all the time to cope up with the all the competition around?
Um, it does get on your nerve sometimes, I would say. But this is the platform that I chose, right? It's like your 9 to 5 job. Whether or not you want to, you have to show up at 9 a.m. every day. You cannot give excuses. You cannot, chuck your office. You cannot take it for granted. So this is the platform. This is the life I chose. So I don't take it as a pressure that I have to show up on Instagram every now and then. But this is my job. It's a career to me. So I don't mind doing that. And I'm very passionate about it. So I love to be on Instagram, spend time, not just like wasting time, but then also checking what kind of audience do I have, how can I can interact with them, what kind of content's trending, my fellow bloggers, my competitors, what they are doing. So it's a kind of a knowledge gaining platform for me, other than my own career that I am building. So that ways, I don't think it's too much of a pressure for me. I am kind of into it wholeheartedly. Retaining your followers, the audience is a challenge. But having said that, I believe if you really have connected with your audience and if you really want to be missing in action for say a week or two because of some genuine reason, I don't think your followers are that restless that they cannot wait for you. It's about the connect that you build with your followers over the period of time. And like you said, insta algorithm is really really tricky. You're not active. It's not just about followers not following you or liking or not liking you. It's about insta's algorithm kind of changes for your account in the whole, right? So that ways, it's a challenge. to keep keep up all the time, and even if you want to, you can't take a miss or skip a post or something. But end of the day, if you really have talent, if your content is good, if you're really giving out something of value, uh, eventually it's going to work out for you, I feel. And you can take a leap, but having said that, it's not like a regular job. You cannot be on vacations all the time. You can be like out for a week in say 3 months or 4 months.
So, how many hours do you put in a day in your work? Like, as you're only doing this?
It's insane. On the days when I'm shooting, like I said, I normally shoot thrice a week. Um, and on the days that I'm shooting, I really cannot focus on anything else. Like my mind is literally only thinking about the content that I have to create that day. And it's too much stress, it's too much chaos, because creating fashion content is like, your entire room, your entire house is messed up. Somewhere the outfits, shoes, bags, and all of that. And I'm more into styling. So for me, creating one piece of content is like 5 styles. So 5 styles, you can imagine 5 outfits, 5 accessories, everything is messy. So yeah, so to your question, I spend like 3 days a week to creating content, and it's like it takes me about 6 to 7 hours on the days I'm shooting. So I devote like 6 to 7 hours straight shooting, and but that is not the only time that I devote to my work. Editing takes a lot of time. Planning takes a lot of time. Planning what you have to shoot, how you have to shoot. That's really, really time consuming. And then once you are done with the shooting, it's like editing. It
But
takes another whole lot of time.
Yeah, but your fashion game is really good, I must say. Your all your dresses, makeup, styling, it's like really amazing, seriously.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. And one more thing, Nishna, like when we see a blogger on Instagram, the only thing, like I said, your fashion game is very good. The only thing we see is good pictures with good clothes, getting PR packages every day. So is it like all roses?
It's not all roses, like I still get DMs like, if people say that you get free products, you are so lucky. But dude, I mean, come on, I am not just getting free products. The brand is demanding me 3 pieces of content out of it. If they are sending me one dress, and if I only have to make one reel, say in that dress, it is actually taking so much of time for me to plan, to shoot, to edit, to put it, out there. So it's not free. That kind of the amount of time, energy, mind that I'm devoting to it is also something you should evaluate, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's all if nothing's for free. Everything is paid in either money or in time or in mind or effort, whatever.
Yeah. So, Rishna, like when you were working with Coca-Cola and now you do your own thing, blogging, what do you think? What made you more satisfied? Were you like more content then, or you feel more content now?
See, I was really, really happy with my Coca-Cola job. I was working there as a purchase manager, and I would have never left that job had my marriage not happened, or I have to move to a different city altogether. But I mean, I had to take a decision. But otherwise, my job was very satisfactory in every 360-degree ways, in every possible manner. Um, but this is my own, business. Like blogging is a business for me, and obviously, when you are your own boss, it's a different feeling altogether. You are flexible at it. You can work on it anytime. There is nobody to ask you, tell you, or anything of that sort. So being your own boss is a different kind of feeling altogether. And yeah, so this is definitely better. But that was a fixed job. So yeah.
Yeah.
You were at least getting a check. You were at least getting a check end of the month there for sure shot. Over here, it's like it's a very inconsistent source of income kind of career. So that way is maybe a negative side. Otherwise, everything about blogging or having your own business is really good.
So do you feel content with your life, with whatever you're doing and stuff? Or do you
I do.
or do you always feel there is something missing, or there's a lot of pressure?
No, I think I'm giving my 100% to this profession, and I really do not have anything to complain about because I've had my professional, like corporate life. I've lived that, and doing something of my own is really giving me freedom to be experimental, to be new every time I want to do something. I do not have to, go through the same monotonous process of doing the same thing over and over again. So definitely, I'm liking this better. But like I said, that was a fixed job. This is like, still people are, struggling to make it a career.
Yeah.
That is the only challenge. Otherwise, I definitely enjoy this more.
Yeah. And being on social media all the time because of your job, what work you're doing. So how do you disconnect yourself? Like, because you have so much information these days at a click. So how do you filter your information to keep your sanity?
See, the thing is, you really need to, what I believe, I need to take a day off, at least once in a week to detach myself from Instagram and all this life and everything, and, just try to be myself. So that is how I try to do. I try to cut myself for a while, every once in a while or something, but not for long. And in terms of creating content, I kind of stick to what my niche is, what my my fashion sense is. So there are a lot of things happening. Just because a fellow blogger is doing something doesn't mean that I also have to follow the same step. Maybe I can do something similar, but in my own flavor, adding my own flavor in my own way. So obviously, I mean, you have to download everything that's going around, but you really have to be authentic and unique about yourself, and just take in what's needed. You do not have to, soak in everything that's going around. Whatever's relevant to you, you can just filter that and use it for yourself.
So how do you deal with all the negativity that comes with all this, like the trolls, the comments, negative DMs? How do you deal with that?
So Geetika, one thing that I'm really, really happy about, that I honestly, in 4.5 years of my blogging journey, I've never really come across a very bad comment or a very too much of negativity. Thankfully, that's surprising. That's really surprising.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, sometimes for a change, people are like, they'll message me stupid things like, this music is not going with your looks. Like, you should have used some other music, something like that, which is not very negative. It's kind of a suggestion, right? So yeah, and or maybe sometimes people are like, you don't look so good or something like that. So I simply mail them, DM them saying that you can unfollow me if you don't like me. You do not have to see what you don't like.
Yeah.
Right. So whatever lesser amount of negativity also that I have witnessed, I never take it in a negative form. I'm simply like, it's okay. I mean, it's completely okay if you don't like me or my work. Everyone has a different choice. Every individual is different. And I'm not here to please everyone, end of the day. I'm only here to help those out who can relate to my fashion. If you cannot, then please happily unfollow me and pacify.
Maybe after 4.5 years, you are saying that you're that confident. But I'm sure, like when you started, if somebody would comment something about your features, about your clothes, about a content that you have created with so much hard work, it must have, affected you at that time more.
See, I again believe that the kind of response that you are giving to your audience, in return for these messages and stuff, it also comes with your maturity level, how mature you are. It doesn't matter like whether I've recently started or I'm into it for 4 years now, that I have grown thick skin. It's not like that. It comes with your maturity level. So even if somebody would have been very negative towards me and my work in the very start, I don't think I would have backlashed. I think I would have still given the same kind of response, that it's fine if you don't like it, you can unfollow me. You don't have to see what you don't like. And so that is.
Sorry, I'm not talking about the response you will give that person. I'm saying like taking it to the heart. Like I have done so much hard work, and then I am getting such negative comments. With time, it's okay. You take it with 1,000 good comments, I have 1 or 2 negative comments. But when you start and you get such comments, so it gets to you, doesn't it?
If it's too harsh, maybe then, or if it's coming from somebody, someone close or something like that, then maybe it can get to me, and that too for a very short span of time. But if a stranger is, randomly saying something very bad, or I'd rather, ignore. I don't take it at heart.
So you are like that from starting.
I am like that from starting, and I also believe that, like you said, like if one person is saying something negative, at least there are 9 others who are,
Positive.
kind of getting inspired from and are positive. So I'd rather focus on those 9 than that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good attitude. So, Nishta, with all so much of work and everything, what is your me time?
Night time. I sleep late at night, and I really like to, kind of think everything that I do. And so I love the night time when everyone's asleep and it's like pin drop silence. So I really enjoy that time. And in the middle of the day also, if I need a break or something, like if I'm shooting or if I'm doing anything else, I would like to grab my cup of coffee or tea and just, chuck out and get away from my husband and all the mess of the house and find a corner and just enjoy that and think.
So, like your me time is just sitting alone and thinking what
And
you
also
have to.
Netflixing also. See, the thing is, me time, I think for everyone has changed in last 1.5 years or something,
Yeah.
because everyone's stuck at home pretty much, right? And you really don't have an option but to do things to keep yourself busy or, entertained,
Yeah.
or like to be yourself, anything which you can do from the comfort of your own house. So Netflixing is a very important platform for me, for my me time, because a lot of times, even today, when I'm like too stressed or too much thinking about the content and all of that, I really feel that, I would rather watch my favorite series, a season, an episode or two, and I'll be like relaxed. It will be a good change for me, a completely, stress buster for me. So that's another me time for me.
Yeah. So, like when you're doing so much of work all the time, like 3 or 4 days in a week, you work for 6 to 7 hours for a shoot, and before that, you have to,
Plan.
process it, yeah, plan it, and then afterwards editing. So you are pretty much working all the time. So if
Pretty
you're not,
much.
yeah, so if you're not working, does it give you anxiety? Like there are some people, if they're not doing something, they're like, oh, they can't sit idle, they have to do something all the time. So are you out of those people?
I really crave for like a free time, to be honest. Like my husband is all the time working, like 5 days a week. He's pretty much busy throughout the day. And I am shooting twice a week. I'm not even counting Saturday, Sunday, because Saturday, Sundays are very different kind of days altogether. So I'm just counting 5 days. So I'm working 3 days a week. The remaining 2 days, I really have something or the other to do. Uh, in terms of, running errands or doing some follow-ups or, something or the other. So I literally do not get like absolutely free time where once in a blue moon, like maybe once in a month, I get a day where I have absolutely nothing to do. And I'm like, oh my God, is it really happening? Like I am free all day. I can just do whatever the hell I want to do. But I don't get anxiety if I'm not doing anything, because as far Instagram is concerned, I keep my content ready. I shoot in a manner that, I'm not running out of content. I get anxiety or anxious only when I'm running out of content. So it's like, for example, if tomorrow is Monday and I really do not have any new content to post, then it's there where I get, anxious. But not doing anything doesn't give me anxiety, because I am prepared. Like whatever I am doing, I know I've done my homework, and I'm ready for it. So yeah.
So do you sit back and reflect, like at night or something, that about your day, or at the end of the week? Do you self-reflect?
I do. I talk to myself to self-reflect. I really do that, and as funny as it may sound, but I really talk to myself, like out loud also sometimes. In my mind, of course, I talk to myself a lot, but sometimes at night when everyone's sleeping and it's like pin drop silence, there's no disturbance, I even talk to myself and figure things out, how everything's happening, if I'm doing something wrong, if everything's right, how I'm feeling, if I'm going right, wrong. So yeah, that's
So
how I
according
self.
to you, the best way to self-reflect is like just talking to yourself and loud
It's
or
not according. It's not according to me. It's what I do.
yeah.
Yeah.
So no, like I'm asking for our listeners, if somebody doesn't get a way to self-reflect, according to you, what is the best way to, calm yourself, self-reflect, and to keep your anxiety down?
See, for every person, there are different things to self-reflect. Some can meditate, some can talk to their loved, dear, and near ones. Some can simply watch something or read something. Reading is a good way to, like run away from all the chaos. And so every person is different. For everyone, I think the way to self-reflect would be absolutely different. For me, it's mostly by talking to myself. It kind of it's like I'm questioning myself and I'm answering myself. And while I'm answering myself, I kind of figure out there can be multiple answers and which one is like right for me, right? And if things don't go around as I planned, I kind of figure out, what other options could have I gone for, and how would have it resulted in. Sometimes I do talk to my loved ones, like my husband or my best friend, if I'm genuinely and extremely worried about something or something's bothering me.
Yeah.
So I even do that. But yeah, I think talking to yourself is something which people can at least try and see if that works out with them. For me, it does.
So do you read books?
I am not a reader. I just cannot. When I cleared my final MBA exam, I literally promised to myself, this is my last study. I'm never studying after that.
Okay.
I cannot read. I wish I was a reader because I strongly believe reading is a very good habit and one should definitely inculcate. I never did. And the moment I see the book, I just fall asleep.
Okay. Any kind of book.
Anything. But I wish I was into reading. It's a different world altogether,
It is, yeah. So, like when I asked you, how do you deal with all the negativity and all? So you said like it's about maturity, how
Yeah.
maturely you deal with the things, and obviously everybody have different maturity level. But do you think like in last 10-15 years the world has changed so much that kids are getting matured fast? They are, they're not as innocent as you and me would have been at our 15.
Right.
Yeah. So what do you think it
So I'll
causes?
tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because during our times, I don't know what's your age, but I'm quite old.
We are at the same age, almost.
I also. So
Yeah.
when we were in our tens, when we were teenagers, right? There was no such thing as digital world, right? We were completely aloof to various information. We had absolutely no idea how world operates. We had no references to go to. Like today, for example, everything is digitized. There is nothing a 12-year-old doesn't know, right? Because one can easily Google, one can easily refer to a lot of videos. So if somebody is feeling down, for example, say a 15-year-old boy or a girl is feeling down because of a low grades or something like that, they can go to a lot of references on YouTube and here and there and figure out a lot of ways to tackle with it. Some will be able to tackle it maturely, some might not be able to tackle it maturely. But what I'm trying to say is because everything is digitized today and it's a digital world, people are completely easy, um, they are easy, they have a lot of shoulders to lean on. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they can get
Digital
references from a
friends.
lot of digital friends and otherwise also. Like a lot of people are very quiet, very introvert. They don't have any friends to talk to, they don't like to, they don't have the courage to. But there are so much on digital platform today, YouTube, Instagram, social media in general. They can find their friends somehow. And as far information is concerned, people are mature because they are getting all the information at such a small age.
Yeah, right.
So the more you are knowledgeable, I believe the more you're mature, because you have in such a small age, they are basically seeing the world, which we couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think maturity comes with that.
Yeah. So what do you think? What is your emotional question?
So you want to rate my emotional quotient? Like you want me to rate it or out of 10 or
No,
something?
how
Or
is it?
how?
Like dealing things and everything. Like how is your emotional question? How easily do you get sad? How easily do you get angry? How do you manage it?
So I'm a very emotional as well as practical person. You know, I'm only affected when something has happened with somebody I really like. And if a stranger has said something to me, or you know, I'm like least affected. It doesn't affect me. I won't, you know, I won't even think
Give a
about it, not
damn.
even once. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm like, who are you? I don't even know you. I mean, it doesn't matter to me what you think about me. It's like that. And but if somebody whom I love, and if they feel something in a certain way about something that I'm doing, then that does affect me. And so my way of dealing with things, emotional things, is like I really want the person to talk the issue out.
Okay.
You know, if there is something bothering you related to me, I would definitely force the person, insist the person to, you know, discuss it out for my mental peace. Just don't keep it within you. Just don't be mad at me or angry at me. Let's talk it out. You know, let's just figure out where I'm wrong, what have I done. So that way, I think I'm quite emotionally mature. But yeah, if closed ones are thinking in a certain way about me, then it does bother
It
me.
is different. Yeah. Okay. So, you know, with so much work and processing, how is your sleep pattern?
I am a night owl. I don't think I've ever seen a sunrise. I'm just kidding. Only during my school days when I had to get up at 4 or 5 in the morning to, you know, to study and stuff. But yeah, I just cannot get up in the morning. So I in general sleep very late, like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. And I wake up late. But I make sure that I'm sleeping for good 6 to 8 hours straight. That is something which is really important to me, because if I've not slept for straight 6 hours also, my body cannot function the next day. Yeah.
So, do you sleep easily, like when you want to sleep? Like you're a night owl? Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good thing,
Yeah.
because sometimes it happens like when you work so much and you're always thinking about what next. So at night also you know you have a lot of thoughts and you're not able to sleep easily. So that's a good thing
Yeah.
if you can sleep easily.
So far so good. Yeah, I can
Yeah,
sleep.
that's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? Like when with your all your digital family, digital friends, has it distant you from your real family or friends? Has that phase ever come? Like you're getting distant with your friends or family?
My profession does take a lot of time, demand a lot of time out of me, but even if I was not working, so I'm a kind of person who is not very, frequently connected to my family. So, for example, like unless and until I see 2 missed calls from my own mom, my mother, I wouldn't call her back. So she's like, you know, whether you are busy or you are free, you have this tendency of not answering the call and calling back unless and until I'll call you 2 or 3 times in a week or something. So that way, I think my connection with my family is very internal. You know, it's very personal. It doesn't. I won't kind of how measure it in terms of how many times I'm speaking to them or whether I'm giving enough time to them. It's not that. Even if I talk to them once in a week, I know that I'm deeply connected to them, and we do understand each other and everything.
Yeah.
So my work really doesn't come in between as such, I'd say.
Not even with your friends, like
I have very limited friends, very few. And my best friend is like my best friend. Another best friend is my own husband. So yeah, I'm kind of. They are extremely busy people. First of all, more busier than me. So instead of them asking me or complaining about me not calling them, it's gonna be me first complaining to them. Please find some time for me, okay? So it's like that. But so yeah, so having said that, I believe that, you know, when it comes to your physical family, you know, it's more about the kind of connection you have by heart than by how many times you're talking to them in a day or in a month.
That's true.
Yeah, so that is how my favorite or my most close people are with me.
So, next I wanted to ask you was, how do you think is your EQ? But I think you're quite satisfied with your EQ. What I can take away with all the conversation.
See, I do have my downtime, my low time. I won't say that I don't. I mean, I know that I'm emotionally mature. I can always pick myself up, whether or not somebody is there to support me. But having said that, I do have my downtime. There are days when I feel like quitting Instagram also, quitting blogging also. Like things do affect you. But end of the day, you have to ask yourself, why did you start all this in the first place?
Yeah.
Or anything for that matter. Even if in your marriage, you're a married couple, there'll be a lot of ups and downs in the marriage also. Very trivial issues you'll fight upon, which is not even going to be important after 2 hours. Like such small pathetic issues you'll be fighting on. And but then again, you have to always ask yourself, like, how important is that thing or that comment or that fight, to you in the long run? And then you should, and I think once you question yourself that and find a right answer to that, uh, more than half the things in life would be easily settled by you yourself.
So, like, you're emotionally mature, but do you at times you feel that you are going out of the way for people, but you're not getting that much back? Have you ever felt that way?
I do that sometimes, but then again, if I am going out of the way for anyone out of choice, then I can definitely cannot complain, because that's my choice, right?
Yeah.
But if the other person is demanding the same thing out of me, and I'm not reciprocating in the same manner, then maybe it can be a little affecting, but otherwise not. If I'm doing by choice, it's solely my choice, and I cannot do it out of expectations.
So yeah, that's true. So, with so many people around trying to work with you and otherwise physical also, do you at times feel that you're all alone?
Sometimes I feel I am so alone, like, I have to fight my own battle most of the time. I do feel that.
So how do you deal with
Sometimes
that?
I just kind of see the positive in everything, I think that's my way of keep going despite the hardships or things not falling in place. I just feel that, if that two negative things or are bothering me so much, I have to look at the other 8 things which did work out in my favor. So I should count my blessings. So I kind of tell it to myself, count your blessings. You have so much to be blessed about, so much to be grateful for. So don't let certain negativities affect your life. So that's what I do.
So, these days we hear a lot about self-care, put yourself first, you are only for yourself. But do you think, you don't think there is a very thin line between self-care and thinking about self first and being selfish? So how do you draw a line?
Like, it's okay, today's world is all about, self-love.
Yeah.
People are mistaking it with being selfish. That's true. I really like this question, but the thing is, you have to be kind to yourself. You do not have to be harsh on yourself when we talk about self-love. Okay, give yourself one chance, second chance, third chance. Just don't give up. Be nice to yourself. You are fighting it every single day, but when you make it everything and all of it about yourself, and you tend in the process, if you tend to ignore the other person, his likes, his dislikes, his emotions, his importance, then I think it becomes selfish.
Yeah.
So when you are thinking about yourself so much, you also have to think about the people you love, people you are living with. So like you say, it's a very thin line. Sometimes we tend to forget that. We tend to forget who else is living with us. We only make everything, all the issues, all the problems about ourselves. But I think you have to remind yourself that, of course, you are important, but then other people in your life are also important. So try and make time for them as well.
Yeah. Also, like, when you think that ways, you tend to do a lot for others. There also you have to put a line that you don't undergo.
Overdue.
Yeah. Do you think like with whenever we come on social media, obviously we put happy photos, videos, we're all smiling and everything. So faking emotions has become a kind of a fashion.
Yeah,
Even in
that's true.
real life, even in real life, you might be crying in your room at night, but when you go in front of people, you wouldn't like to share. So do you
Yeah,
think
because somehow, yeah, that's true. I'm sorry to interrupt.
no,
So somehow people are actually, kind of, um, you are only trying to show the good side, the good things, whether or not it's real, because people are kind of judging you, and you are scared of being judged. That is why I think people are kind of faking it, because they just want to show off, they just want to be like on top, show as if they're on top of the world and everything.
yeah,
But I don't think that's right. One should be true. As for social media is concerned, there are a lot of, like, I for one, am a kind of blogger who doesn't really talk about hardships or the problems in my life, at least not every now and then. But I do see a lot of bloggers who are literally all the time, every damn day, talking about the hardship that they are going through. Nothing comes easy for anyone, is what I believe. I also believe at the same time, it's fine. You are letting your audience know that what kind of hard day you had, but you cannot try to win their sympathy out of it, right? So I understand that you people only show the good side, the happy face, and all that to the social media. There are a lot of reasons to it. Some people want to only show the positive side, be happy so that they can make the other person happy, right? Some people do it because they genuinely are happy, and some people do it because they don't want to show the negative side and make your audience sad. They just want to keep the negative things, the hard things to themselves, and let the bright side show to the audience. So I won't say everyone's faking it, actually. Everyone has different reasons to do it.
Yeah, but still there is like a trend that everybody wants to look that I am enough for myself, maybe
No one is.
yeah, exactly. So I think it is very important to show that I am not all happy and I'm not all enough for myself. Everybody needs people. We are actually a social being, so we need people, we all have different kind of emotions. So sometimes it is important to show that also,
Yeah, it's important to show that it's okay to break down.
Yeah,
it's okay to have flaws, it's okay to feel low, it's okay to cry. It's important to showcase that also every now and then. You just cannot like be on top of the game all the time. No one is, like, literally no one is in real life,
yeah,
whether it's Ambani or whoever.
Yeah, because
so it's
yeah, sorry, please continue.
It's okay. No, you carry on. Nothing.
I was just saying, like, because when we had TikTok in India, it's banned now. So last year when it was there in last lockdown, there were a lot of news like very young TikTokers having 2, 3, 4, 5 million followers, and after they, committing suicide or something. So because it is getting a lot of pressure on their head, and they're not able to keep up with that in that age. So because they have to show they're very happy, but nobody is happy all the time.
So the reason they did that is because their livelihood is taken away from them, right? If TikTok, people are earning from TikTok, people are making their living out of TikTok. If TikTok is taking that big step, they should have come up with an alternative app, right, where people can at least switch. It's like you are having a lavish job, and out of the blue the company is shut down. I mean, how will you feel? Not everyone is strong enough to fight it.
Yeah.
And like you said, that these are like 18, 17, 16-year-old people, like youngsters. Not everyone has a strong or thick skin or strong heart to deal with it. So of course, I mean, giving up your life is never a solution, no matter what. But that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're taking such extreme step, a platform is taking such a extreme step, they have to think about millions and millions of users who are there, who are making a living out of it. So I think that ways the platform had to do something about it. But at the same time, Instagram came with Reel, which was a
Yeah.
kind of substitute, and people did move to Reels now. So
Yeah, and there are a lot of other apps as well which are, trying to promote themselves
mhm.
as TikTok. So yeah,
Right, right.
uh, that is the point, because we very easily we get overwhelmed with small things
Yeah,
that we don't think for a moment that, there are a lot of other things that are connected to us. We're not just living for ourselves. Like if something goes, you have your parents, you have family who are obviously connected to you, so it is very difficult
yeah,
for them to live if you do take such steps and make
yeah.
social media your only life. That should not be a
That's
thing.
what, yeah, yeah. And people are like so detached from their own family, their own parents,
Yeah,
because they are so involved in social media and their digital life that when something doesn't fall in place, when things go, world turns upside down, they kind of feel so lonely, they find it so hard to deal with.
yeah, that is why
And
I
they
think
are
it is,
so,
yeah,
exactly.
it is very important to be connected to your family and your real
Know your
friends.
roots.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it
Always
is.
know your roots, be connected to them, always have people to go back on, go back to. That's really important. No matter how successful you are, you
Yeah,
should really have physical people out there, to at least one or two people out there you can go to, talk to.
true. Because
That's
like
really
it,
important.
this thing is also very trending these days. Like grass is always greener on the other side, maybe
On the
because
other
it's
side.
fake. Maybe because it's fake. So yeah, it should always be greener because it's fake. It cannot dull.
Exactly, exactly. See, even like you said, like Instagram is all about happy face, showing off, and everything. But even today, a lot of influencers have become very realistic now. In terms of just don't get swayed by our flawless skin. It's not flawless. It's like 5 layers of makeup on it, right?
Yeah.
And so many bloggers are there who are showing their bare skin just so the
Hmm.
audience feels content in their own skin.
Right.
So people are changing, like the platform is changing, the approach to promote yourself and making the other person, your audience, feel satisfied in his or her own skin is changing. So that is
Yeah.
a good thing. We are headed in the right direction, but not all of us are, kind of
Doing that.
pursuing it. But yeah, so yeah. So we have to make the audience believe that, you are good, whatever you are enough.
Yeah.
You should
We
be
all have
embracing your own.
flaws.
We
Yeah.
all have flaws. No one's flawless. Just embrace whatever you have, know your strength, work on it, and try to make a living out of it.
Yeah. That's a very good point.
Yeah.
So on a lighter note, Nishta, what do you think is your greatest achievement till now?
Uh, Yet to achieve. So the thing is, I won't say greatest achievement. I was happy about a lot of small things that happened to me. Like when I worked for Coca-Cola, I was really happy that I was working with this company in such a good position and everything. Then blogging happened. I was really happy, and then blogging also kind of went good, and people started praising. The brands started reaching out. So even
Hmm.
that was an achievement for me. That was an achievement when good brands started reaching out. Because somehow they are kind of realizing my work and noticing my work, recognizing it. So I feel there are small things. I would rather not have a very big achievement so far, but there are small things that I have achieved that made me really happy in life.
Okay. So what is the one giveaway or takeaway you would like to give our listeners about mental health and how to balance social media and their emotional health and not getting too involved?
See, I would like to say your social media is a career. If you are on social media as a platform, don't let it affect you. I mean, whether it's good, it's bad, nothing's ever gonna be good and nothing's ever gonna be bad,
Hmm.
right? There'll be always ups and downs. You'll be happy during good times, you'll be sad during bad times, but don't get to the extreme of it.
Yeah.
I mean, if things are falling in place for you, be happy about it. Still keep working. If things are not falling in place for you, don't be so bogged down. Uh, Things will change. Time will change. Time will improve. And it's not that it's going to be like this, so bad for the rest of your life. Just how good times don't stay forever, similarly, the bad times also don't stay forever. So don't get your heart so much get disturbed by it that you kind of give up or something like that. Just keep going, believe in yourself, and things will fall in place. It's very important to believe in yourself.
Yes.
It's easy to say that, to believe in yourself, people do that, but there are so many hardships one has to face, whether it's me, you, or anyone out there. No one gets anything easier, and by saying that no one gets, even if you get it, it's not easy. It's not a cakewalk to maintain it. In order to, even if someone's successful, today, in order to maintain that success, you really have to work hard. I mean, you did work hard to become successful, but once you have become successful, you have to maintain that, and you have to work thrice the amount, thrice the effort. So no matter how easy it looks for the other person, just know that every single person is working equally hard, and so do you. Keep working hard, believe in yourself, and don't let yourself get affected by negativities.
Yeah.
Know that it's just a phase, it will pass.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Nishta. It was really good conversation. And even if one person, feels better after listening to this conversation, I think my goal will be achieved, because these are such hard times. Everybody is going through so much after the pandemic. It is very difficult to be sane. So I'm really happy. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I really enjoyed talking to you.